Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining me for part two of the Gretchen sketch card. So I'm gonna get started on that in just a minute. Really washed out, but anyway, got like cameras on me. A lot of light too. Good to see you in the chat. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Trippy Rips. Hey, give and receive. Good to see you out there. All right. Switch over to my main stream here. We can start looking at the sketch card we started last Friday. Kind of a weird day to start, but hey. Hey, Patrick. Good to see you on there too, bud. We're going to go ahead and continue to color this thing. I'm not going too fast on this one, but we can maybe speed it up a little bit. And just as a reminder, here is the card we're looking at, referencing one of John Pound's cards from original Series 9. So, yeah. Doing kind of a unique thing with the colors and want to do some gradients on some of the areas there. And real fabric-y looking. So, and those aren't flies or moths. I said flies last time. I kept thinking about moths. So I know they do a revisit of this character later on in the sets and getting more attacked by the moths. So hope everyone's having a great week out there. It's just like what, Tuesday, and it feels like it's Thursday to me. I'm already having a rough one. So just busy. All right, let me get situated. I'm gonna take my watch off. Some more flexibility on the wrist tonight. Let's see. Oh, I'm just coloring. This is the fun part. This is the fun part. I keep thinking like I'm getting ready to draw. I'm serious. Like I was flexing my wrist. Like, nope, you don't need to. I will say one thing though. If you color a lot, this is kind of funny. Just before we start, if we color a lot, like you do a lot of color with these things, this is kind of weird. You'll start to hurt your finger you're resting it on. Actually, these things will hurt your finger as you keep going and going and going. And you'll see artists. You'll see pictures of them. They'll tape their fingers up here because whatever they're doing with the rests, whatever they have, drawing implements, coloring, whatever it might be, you'll see them bandage their hands. I've only done that like twice, I think, but it was near the end, like 24-hour stretch of just coloring for just go. And you don't even think about it until you're like, gosh, that's killing me. But we're not going to color anywhere that much on this, so won't be a problem. So anyway, that's what we're going to work on tonight. Kind of working on this character again. I'm going to pull it off screen there. Get me a reference up here so I can colors to look at. Check our chat here. So I'll be checking the chat a little bit here and there, but I'm going to focus a lot on the color tonight. AGQ Lantern, good to see you out there. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. Everybody, hopefully Tuesdays are okay. I was going to do last night, but we had to spend some time with the family, so we pivoted that. Plus, maybe back-to-back streams isn't really the way to go. Maybe a little gap, maybe too much of me is a bad thing, probably. I would think so. So anyway, all right. So next thing here, I guess I do need to show the reference again. Let's look at this again. So let's see. I think I'll work on. Let's work on some of the blue stuff. Any day is good, Trippy Rips says. Thank you very much. Well, that's awesome. Awesome. Glad some of you say that. I did a survey or a little poll before, and it said Monday or like Thursday, and Mondays are good to me in a way because I always thought Mondays are kind of suck anyway. It'd be good to have a stream, or they could suck. Maybe they're all right. I don't know. Sometimes they're busier than others. So anyway, this color up on her forehead here. So that's kind of a purplish color. Now that I'm looking at it, this is more purpley, and it kind of works its way down to be a bluish color down here, which I think what I didn't notice was maybe across here. Looks like across here there's another line I didn't put in, which is blue. So there's a blue zone down here. So let's put that in just as a marker. Let's do that. Let's do that because I want to get as much colors in different zones as I can. And it won't be an exact copy. See, let's just choose some colors. So I saw this. I was just looking at my blues over here. So I've got some blues here. Let me get this in the screen so you can see it. And I'm thinking this B63 is a nice darker color. I want to blend up to it. This thing out. There we go. Let's see. That's really lighter than I thought it was going to be. So I don't use this one a lot, obviously. So I like that. That's really actually light. Yeah, I should have thought about that. I thought the B63 and I thought darker. And even the cap. Look at the cap there. And Look, it's a 3, so I mean it's very light. A 3 is very light, and so saturation is high, but the shade is very. So I think I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start with that up in this zone here, and then I'll maybe darken it up towards the bow and the side area over there. So I think like last time I talked about, we'll just sort of color in these areas with a lighter color, and then we'll blend around with the lighter color into a darker color. And kind of play some zone work here. I'll do that one. And I think there's a patch down. I'll just mix it up a little bit. Let's do one down here too. Use this color. I don't want to use 1,000 colors, but we want variation here. I'm looking at the reference again. I know it's tiny on your screen, but I'm looking at another one. Yes, I could do this one. Chat's covered up by my screen. Let me shrink my screen here so I can see the chat here. Pound went dark on that face. Yeah, Pound did go pretty dark, and I could always darken it up more. I gotta be careful because I'm working with ink, and that ink, if I go too dark, then it's hard to come back from without going to pencil and lightening it up. But how many shades of blue in the card are you going for? Are you going off of? I am looking at every section as like in my mind 3 shades, and I'm sure there's probably a 4th in there if you want to be honest. Since I'm converting from a painting into a sort of marker drawing, it's kind of an adaptation. So, but I'm shooting for no more than 4 different colors per panel, or you know, like if I use 4, I might use 3. I don't know. We'll see. I also might put a little bit dirty gray in there too, like I was talking about before, kind of getting a different shade because some of the facial features when they get shadow in them, they look kind of dirty and grayish if you look at them. So that gray look in here is I can kind of play with there with a different kind of marker. So we'll see. Let's get to it. I'm talking about it. Let's do it. All right. So something darker there. This is a B45. Probably not the appropriate color, but it seems a little too muted. Something a little lighter. Maybe I need like a purple bluish color. They do make blue violets. And this is blue violet. I think these are not 100% what I want. Look at this 4 here. That might work as the darkest shade in there at the very top, and I can blend to it. So let me see. Blue violet 2. That's better. That's better, and that's pretty. That's much more like the original. I think I can start to blend in some of that purple blue in there. I like that. So go with that. We'll keep the this weird blue, this blue 63. Keep that in there as my lighter shade, which is kind of odd, but I feel like if I started with a blue violet that was too light, it wouldn't have looked blue enough. It would have looked too purple. You see, that's a blue violet 11, so that's supposed to be lighter in some ways than that. Don't have. Oh, here's blue violet 1. Here's blue violet 1. Let's see what that. Start off with this. So again, that's okay. I mean, that's all right. I could use that to blend with. I could probably adapt that in, but you know, we'll see. So let's be bold. Let's move in with the darkest color. Let's go dark and go super light and super dark and blend in between. So let's do this top edge here. Right, Pound went kind of dark on this one. I'm going to go just the edge. Almost line it like a multi-liner. Come in a little bit and just bleed in there just a little bit. And around the eye sockets, he went really dark. I'll be careful with the eyes too, because I want to blend them a certain way, and I've already sort of blended them a little more than I want to in this one, not literally thinking about it, but I want to add a little shine to the eyelids. So, but I can come back and do that, and we might just come back there with a white pencil and do that or something like that. So let's just leave that, and I'll do the eyebrow on this side, and I'll blend and push this ink around. Just a moment. So that's the darkest color. That's the darkest color I'm going to use. A blueberry, which is the blue violet 04. I'm going to use that. So I'm going to move down to the blue violet 02. Is prune. That's what it says prune. My eyes are messing up tonight, but yeah, prune. Prunes were darker than that. Sure, I named that prune. Anyway, all right. Suggestion for you, Copic. Yeah, switch the colors. Switch the color names. I'm just gonna edge in there a little bit more with that. Put that in. And let's see. I'll be honest. Usually with purples and light violets and avian greens, I tend to like using blending with pencils alongside this. And something someone mentioned last time about pencils and which ones were good. Like I talked about Prismacolor and Polychromis and some others, but um, try to stay away from that in this one. But I think that just one of those darker colors, I prefer to use a pencil to try to get a little bit more texture in there. I'm gonna add some more color in there. Very light amount. So let me go in here and get. And the eyelids in this one, these kind of say they're purple. Purple to me. Line around the eye socket again. Keep building it up. If I don't have enough ink in there, then I'll just keep adding a little bit back in, you know. No problem. And in the end, if you still don't like how much like the borders here, you want to, you can use a multi-liner. I have some colored ones. Might come back in with like a colored multi-liner like this and just line in there if I find any little white spots I don't like. Finishing touches. You can always fix something you don't like. Going easy with this one. So one thing you should always do too, I'm not doing it, but you should, like I'm feeling the ink drop really well in this thing, and it's bleeding a lot of ink out. So I'm pulling back and being careful. But I've always found if you don't have a marker that you 100% trust or know how much ink it drops every time, after you use them for a while, you kind of get the feel for them. Depending on, and they're different, like different. Sometimes even the same color. On this model, pop the top off the back, set to the side, and that will help pressurize and equalize the barrel in there. I swear it helps. It really helps a lot, and it will help control that ink flow a little bit. That's something they don't talk about a lot. Some people even disagree with it, but that's what I found helps me. And also, if I've used them, I haven't used a marker in a while, and I know it's pretty full and like a rarely used color. I usually come to the side and bleed off a little ink first just to see how it's going to behave. So that will save you from making some mistakes, getting too much ink on something. This one's fairly decent. This is just a really tight area, so. Oh, thanks, Bobby. Bobby's like, yeah, makes a big difference for you too. Wow, that's great. Thought you and I had the same viewpoint on that one. I'm not sure, but that was when I found out trial and error should be on the package. I'm just dabbing that in there, just dabbing a little bit around the edge of that darker zone there and trying to pull in ink a little bit to the forehead. Because I've got some light shining this way on the forehead, sort of downish. It's kind of weird. Bunch of light sources on this one really. Might make up some new ones. Eyes again. Just the thinnest little sliver of white there. Right. And let's go ahead and just look at these other zones too. I mean, that's okay for the moment. I can live with that. I mean, I'm eyeing. I'll look at it for a while, and I might end up using a pencil on it or something to get to where I want it. Again, I love using lighter colors and blending up to a darker one. And I feel like with the purples, I always have more limited range, and it's not true. I have a pretty good range here. I just don't like them as much. Blend on the bottom here, some darker colors towards like shadow might be. Here, probably more light on up here. Kind of hard to say. Gonna blend towards the goop. Darker in the goop area, the throw up area. Hard to blend that small of a zone. Like you're gonna have trouble with that. Anything you do. I'm gonna do some circles there. And the tip of the the top of the brush right there into the edge of that darker stuff, and it should just spin around enough to look decent. And it have to dry first. It's always gonna look darker, you know, while it's wet. So, and again, if I don't like this later on, I can come back and lighten it with a white pencil or even a lighter, very light, like lilac looking Prismacolor or something like that pencil. I gotta be honest, it's probably decent enough. Probably not gonna worry. See how much we're bleeding through on the back. Probably a lot. So yeah, there's a lot of bleed through on that darker color like that. I was blending a lot, so you know, be aware of that. If you care about that, you know, whatever. But also, you can get cards that have like others that have a core in between the two cards, and it's like a core that won't bleed through. So I like working with this style, this type of card, more so. All right. And let's do this face down here. So this face here is a blue. So I need to make a distinctive blue kind of zone through here. It's a pretty big area. Let's see what color blue I want to use. It's fairly dark. Do those markers have a heavy scent or aroma? They do not. They do not. That's one of the main differences with a higher end marker is they don't smell as much. I mean, it doesn't bother me markers that do smell that much. I mean, I'm not over here sniffing everything, but these are pretty good. I mean, even when I spray with them, like I spray, you know, airbrush with them, they don't bother me. Should wear a mask or something, but I'm so it's so quick and I'm so far away from it. I don't really bother. So if I die in a couple years, you know why? What happens? Killed by markers. Hope not. Let's get a kind of a lighter blue we can blend into, but it has to be kind of a muted blue. This is very medium looking blue. Dark right there. That's a B34 manganese blue. So that's super dark. I want to think about that. That's pretty good for around the mouth, maybe. I need something a little lighter. Now, the one reason I don't like it is these are a little beat up. You can tell these are being used a lot. I might start with this. This is a B21. It's baby blue. So, and like this one, I talked about the caps. Like it's just kind of used. You can tell by the tip is kind of bent a little bit, kind of weird. I don't know if my son used it at one point or something, some stage, or if it's just that old. Some of my markers here are from like 2015, 2014, and I've had refills on them, or maybe I haven't used them a lot. But this one is nearly dry. I can tell it's very on the edge here. So, but knowing that, I can kind of use it to my advantage. And also, I colored in the mouth right there, but that's all right. That piece is going to be a darker red, so we'll just cover that up. I tell you right now, this marker may just be pointless to start with here. So not getting what I want out that. I mean, it's okay, but need something more beefy than that. Also see on the back, see if it's dry on the back. It's it's a little dry. Yeah, definitely dry. Get a solid line there. So time to refill that B21. I don't think I have any B21. I only keep refills for stuff I use a lot or stuff I airbrush with. So before I do a set or a big project, I usually go through markers and go through my major ones and place stuff that is out or might need. So I do a sort of a weapons check, right? See if I got all my ammo. That kind of thing. This is a, oh, before I continue, this is a B41 powder blue. A little more saturation, kind of the same, shade. Similar, just a little more saturation of this. And then I'll use this to blend something dark in there. While we're at it, let's do some other blue zones. How about the hand, right? The hand is blue. It's a very color intensive swapping character. You have to move around a lot and do a lot. White would not be ideal to do when you're in a rush. Well, to get it right. I mean, you could do a quick version. Fine. All right. And then the leg over here. Let's do this. Edge there. And then let's do the shoulder up here. So we'll see. I'll try to get away with using 2 blues on this. I doubt I can do it. So I used 3 on that, and I'm still not 100% happy with the purple. We might have to do something else there. Let's see. I'm kind of skipping over this. I'm going to do this last, I think, and just blend in whatever colors seem to work out in here and kind of get a feel for. Because I've even got a smaller area to work with in the sort of projectile vomit area here. So, play with that in a minute. So, B41, and then I'm going to try to move to a B34 in a moment. That is quite dark. I need something in between, really. So, in between, just don't worry about the middle number, the 1 and the 4 there. I need something sort of in the middle for different families. Let's see what I have. I have this B52. It's a soft greenish blue. Let's just see how it looks. These are not the same color family, really. But that's not bad. That's kind of a grayish blue, and that might be okay. So let's see. A20 Sandy, is this a commission? No, this is not a commission. This is just one I did on the stream just to kind of play around and show about blending. Nope, not a commission. Got some of those to do though. Let's see. Should be. I don't typically do commissions on the live stream because I want the customer to see the card first. And that's typically how that works. So I don't want to like spoil it, if you will. So if they check out the stream or somebody else seen their card first, I don't want to be upset about that. Not that it's ever been a problem, but that's just kind of my thought on that. That might be unnecessary, but if I've shown them the card or something, maybe I'll show it like I did. I'm digging that. I'm digging this. This is a good color. Got some weird stuff on that. Some eraser or something. Yeah, like I said, I think last week I told you could layer. Depends on the shade and the color, but you can layer at least 3 layers of a color on top of itself. Let it dry first and still get an effect. After that, it gets a little more hard to even see a difference. Trying to go where the shadows might be here. And remember, I'll probably come over this with the just painting my zones, and I'll come with this darker color and blend it around again. And let's look at the hand here. Hand's pretty dark. Pretty dark. There's the fingertips kind of. And this little panel down here, I want to sort of keep that up inside the diaper area. Oh, something you never thought you'd see in a live stream. Keep the shadow in the diaper area. Okay. I'll live with that. Am I going to do an airbrushing? I don't know. It's a good question. I think I might because this card has such a bland background. It screams needing to be airbrushed, and I just think it looks good on these old school characters to airbrush them. So I will probably airbrush this character. Yes, I don't know what color yet, because the original, as you see in the picture, there is an asphalt ground and just white background. So we'll see. Think about it. Maybe suggest one in the chat if we get near the end, what color you like. So whatever. Oh, so let's go to the B34, which is the magnesium blue. Or is it manganese? Manganese. Yeah, sorry, manganese. All right. Black light paint. Oh, okay. Blacklight paint always looks good. Now this, I might have to blend this around, so I might look a little weird for a minute. Let's see. Blacklight paint's always a good thing. I'm gonna dig it. You're gonna see a lot of that, a lot more of that coming. I'm gonna be doing more of that. I love glow paint, dark, blacklight paint, all that kind of stuff. As long as it's fitting for the card, as long as it fits with the character, I think it's good. Harder on that. I'm gonna go in more than that because I'm gonna blend that around some in a moment. Question is, what blacklight color would look good on this card? Now I do have a new I have a newer blacklight paint that I haven't used before because I haven't really messed with that color, but I have a kind of a purple one. Goes with this character. It may not. Pretty much every other color too. So, but I have a blue and a purple I haven't used. I think the purple might be the way to go if I were to use that paint. I'll leave that kind of a little more exposed down here too. Block that area a little bit. Pretty dark down there. So, and let's go back to our. Let's try our B41. We might go to our B41 or our 52, but let's try the 41. See if we can just lightly swirl. You don't want to get too much because you don't want to blend that dark ink all the way over to the edge. So you just want to barely hit it. Come back in a minute. And you may have to go over it with the darker shade again on the edge just to keep building that gradient. I mean, it's tough because you're in kind of a tight little zone there. And smart, you won't kill all your lighter space here and have to go back and do it. I tend to go too far sometimes, so I have to come back and correct that. Some artists spend a very minimalist approach with the ink, and they go to use their white space more efficiently, and I guess in the end a little smarter, because I like to go in there and get in there and just blend all the colors around, and then if I need to lighten it up, I can lighten it up later. I tend to end up sucker for color. I had enough up there if I even went there. Let's see. Skip that area. Looks like I did. Let's see. There's the one. Here it is. B3. It didn't. Oh no, it did. Hey DK, good to see you out there. The black light on that. Oh, cool, cool. What card stock is this? This is a custom card stock. I can't recall the printing company I used for it. Honestly, I'll be happy to post it later. But I used it. I used one that does trading cards, just for all kinds of stuff or stationary stuff. But they make a variety of different stuff, and I got them to just print the blanks up with the logo on it in the back. So yeah, it's very close to Topps regular stock. It's their regular sketch card stock. It feels like this texture here feels just like it. So this is the closest I could find. Took a little while. Oh, hey, DK, something I thought was an older video. No, no, no. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well too. It is a part 2 of a video we started on last Friday, but I don't know if you saw that one or not. You had a chance to. Maybe that's what you're thinking. At this rate, there might be a part 3. We never know, right? Probably will be. All right. Let's go over that again with the blue. It's just not hitting the way I want it to. There and hit those shady spots a little. I think it's this on this side over here for me, which I'm not done yet. I need to probably make it darker from the bottom up. I don't want to get too much over there, but this is pretty dark on the original. But what I might want to do is just grab even one more darker color. A minute. Let's see. Do the 52 and see how that looks when I'm black. One thing I'm seeing is it's just it's still too light in some zones, and yeah, that might be a little too much to work with there. It'll dry lighter, but it's not a good feeling. Let's see. Keep setting my markers to the side and I lose them. So important to have a nice little tray over here to put them in. And I didn't do that this time. 34. Put them up here. 4. 41. There we go. All right. Down here, the same deal. Let's go a little darker again. Another layer of the 34 over the arms and stuff, because that's. Still think we need to maybe just leave that there. You can see when I blended it how much that pulled the ink around. Great thing is you can always come back to this and add more if you need to later. Even near the end of the drawing, you can just add a little bit more if you don't like. You can always reactivate the alcohol ink. And don't worry about this bleed over here. I've got bleed over here. I've got some over here in the white. We can get rid of that. It's no problem. Don't worry about bleeding too much in a little zone like that. Don't go super crazy, but a little edge you can bleed that out and kind of mix it around and push it. Make it go away. I didn't blend this one at all. Blend that one. Can I show the back real quick? Sure. So the back of the card is, it's not as good as I want. It's kind of a quick one. It just says official sketch card by Ricky Kipper, and it has a QR code to my website here, which doesn't have anything on it really. Right now it needs to be redone. And there's a place to sign it and put like a number on it here. I usually write the year on it. Pretty bland, honestly, pretty bland back. This is my Gen 1 card, like my first go at them. So the next ones will be kind of nicer in the back. But yeah, that's it. And this is the lighter version. I have like 3 versions. One's a little thicker, but they all have the same back on them, essentially. Yeah. Hoping one day to have the website up so I can post the different stuff on there, put live stream stuff, put these cards on there maybe, you know. But there's not much on there right now. But yeah, it does bleed through pretty bad, huh? The other ones don't. I don't grab one of them. Oh yeah, here's one. Here's the other version. This is my other type. That's thicker. This has got a thicker core in it, so it doesn't bleed through, and it looks very similar in the back. It's a much thicker card, very sturdy. So I use these a lot. So these are nice, higher quality, if you will, but the texture is not quite as same as this one. This one's a little more fun to work with for me, but in the end, I do end up using a lot of these. So just a better looking card, really. Oh, and I can tell you where I got these from. So these are out of Tennessee. They're from a company called Iconics. The manager there, Karen, she got these worked up for me. So pretty nice, pretty nice. Just provide the artwork and they print these out. So very reasonably too, very reasonable prices. a long time ago when I first got these and I did a stream, I talked about them. It's pretty funny. This company, I ordered just a few of these. I ordered maybe like 50 of them as a sample. I think that was the lowest amount I could order, and they sent me like 250 for the same price. It was an error. It wasn't on purpose. I think they just overprinted or had some extra space on the print run or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Gonna use them now. I like them though. Blend this up here. See, this is new. Weird. All right, let's get some other colors in there. All right. Yeah. So 16, nothing seep through. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think forgot what the thickness is on these. I can't remember. Pretty sure these are 18, or I have one that's 18 and this one's 22. I'd have to look at the order form again. These might be 22, but it's also the type of material that you're going. There's no core in there. It's just not designed for that kind of punishment. But the front is a dream to draw on for me, and it reminds me of just drawing regular sketch cards from top. So um, yeah, like it's weird. Like this is my preference, but the others are kind of better looking cards, honestly. So we use whatever people want. All right, let me move to a green around the ear. And I'm skipping some of the red stuff for now. I think the blue I'm gonna let go for now. I think this is one of these where you're gonna paint it, you're kind of like color it up, paint it up, and then sort of adjust at the end because it's got a lot going on. So it's gonna be the sum of its parts kind of drawing. So let me find some greens I might want to use. So I want some greens to go kind of near this area right here, this ear, and down to here. So I'll start with this apple green, D14. Okay, pretty dark. But again, pretty dark green there too. So that might be all right. I might be swinging a little bit too light on this. You know, look at the reference. It's from the original. If I want to stick closer to that, it's pretty dark, like you were saying. But this is a yellow green 13. There's a lot of yellow greens. A little muted, a little more muted. But I don't know. Maybe it looks just like the very similar to this green 14, isn't it? The green 14 is a little darker when it dries, but I don't know. We'll go with this. I'll go with this. I won't mess around. We'll use the 13. I do have an 11, but my goodness, I think it's too light. Just color that in, and then I'll go dark in there and see. Also, could go dark here and just grab that yellow green 11, blend up into the ear. But the light is more on this back side, so let's go darker to this edge on this side. We'll do that. Again, this marker's not bleeding too bad. I trust it. I used it a lot of times, but just pop that off if you have any doubt. It's a good habit. It's also bad, though, when you throw your caps around, you grab the wrong cap. So it doesn't have to be a whole lot, but it has happened. My card stock is playing cards. Yeah. I've thought about getting some of these blanks made up and put them on the website and just I don't really want to make much off them, but I can resell them. It took a while to find a card that was pretty accurate to, what some of the other companies are using. But I thought about putting some just sample cards up there for people to grab. The generic something on them, nothing, not my stuff. The generic. I know a lot of people they ask me about markers a lot, obviously. It's kind of one reason why I'm talking about them so much. It's easier just to draw, obviously, but also it's like what kind of paper do you use? What do you work with? And paper wise, card wise, grabbing stuff like that. I like Bristol board, Bristol anything. I've used several kinds of Bristol, but Strathmore uses or has multiple kinds of sketch cards, and I should probably do a thing about that one day. So I'm using this lighter yellow green 11-inch, which is pretty new, I can tell. And if you see something here, when I'm blending into that dark zone, it's just kind of eating it away. I'm kind of blending in that darker ink around. I want to go back and put some of that back, but that's I was just playing with there. I want that to be a lighter area up there. So blend in a little bit more of this. This is the 14, the green 14, the apple. Real dark. I can live with that for now. So for now, I'm going to leave that alone. I might come back with something darker around the edge of that. So greens, let's see where else I can put some green. There's a very light, that light green on the back there, I think. Yeah. Let's do that. So there's a light green on the back over here. And let's see, I think that pretty close. It might be a little too light, but let's just see. I think it's too light. Maybe we can work with it in something else. It's, yeah, a little light. Could drop a little bit of that 13 in there and just move it around some. And look over here for that. Inevitably, I have green colors and I have yellow green, so two different areas to play with here. I use a lot of yellow greens actually. Actually use more than I use green. Let's see. Find something that's friendly to me. That might be all right. Oh, you can't see on that. I'm sorry. I'm out of the camera there. That might be okay. You can't tell, but it is lighter than this other stuff I was working with. This is a yellow green 5, which is salad. Yellow green 6 I use a lot, which is basically the same. Very, very little difference. Very little. I mean, usually. And that looks very different, right? How that using a camera. This one's about dry. Get in here and just add a little bit of darkness around the edge of the back here. Want more than that. I like that lighter zone, but I want something dark. So let's go for the 6. Let's go for that 6, which is my go-to for a lot of stuff. Yellow green 6. Base color for Ninja Turtles. I do keep ink for this to refill this one because I have a few of them, but green's a go-to. Let's see if I can just blend a few little spots. A little blocky right there. I want to hit the edge of that color right there. Just blend it up a little bit. I don't want to get crazy. A little nice gradient there. I like that. I like that. All right. Let's see. Let's go above the panel. Above that is okay, this one's crazy. So there's 2 of them here. So this is a pink through here, which, looking at it again now, it's kind of funny too. When you start to color, you'll see different shades. Probably need to put a panel through here. Let's do a line right here. And this area here will be a pink, and this area here will be a yellow with red polka dots. So, man, this will take forever. It should be a commission, shouldn't it? All right. Liner. Let's grab one I could find. This is an 02. I told you I use the 2.5 last week, but this will do. And there's carbon there, or yeah, erase that. Make sure you don't get that in there. And it's not the end of the world if you do, but I still keep that off your markers. All right, so I want to do a little yellow up here, and then we'll do the dot thing, and then we'll move down here and do a pink. Yellows. Let's see. I want to use a pretty medium yellow for me, and that's going to be something like maybe a lemon yellow, which is Y13. Let's see. It might be a little too light. This is pretty light though up there. Let's start with that, and then we'll move something else. Out of some of the other stuff. Let's 6. Yellow 6. That might be more appropriate. This looks pretty gnarly though, huh? That tip looks bad. It's been blended used to blend a lot, so that's more accurate. That's what I want. This is a little too light, so saturation's 0 on this, and it's a 6 shade here. Yellow is that color you would imagine. You have to be careful with those pencils you didn't erase earlier. So if you hit some pencil, you're going to have some problems. And this is when you have to use a pencil to fix if you jack up the. Can blend out a little bit. I use a lot of yellow with oranges and do like the sun effect, sunburn effect and stuff. But I'll be honest, yellow is not one of my go-to colors for stuff unless I have to use it. This marker's pretty raggedy too. You can tell the pretty nasty. But it is laying down enough color for this, for what I need, because I'm just going to shade around it with a darker one because I want a little light in the center. I'm going to put some dots in there with some red. They're red dots too. They're red polka dots. That picture you can't probably make out. So this is a Y19, pretty dark. Look how dark this is. Terrible. Super dark. May want to go a little bit lighter than that. However, near the edge up near the head, it is kind of that dark. 17, still pretty dark. Y17, yeah, virtually unchanged. Find something else. An 18. All the same yellow, isn't it? Think about it. Think about that too when you're buying Copics. Like, here's a 15. I think, yeah, might be all right. You don't need every color. You can get away with just a few. These 3 colors here, honestly, are really similar. So here's a rarely in line, but like this 19, 18, and 17 are very freakishly close. You have to do a large area to see a big difference, and when you're doing smaller areas, you're not going to see a big difference. So keep those kind of things in mind, and you know, I can get away with one of these easily. Now here's a 15. 15 is a little different. It is a little lighter. It'd be hard to see, but it is a little less. So I'm going to use the 15 on this. This is an old 15. This is a Chow. I don't know if I talked about it last time, but whereas the Copic scale, you can go with the cheaper option sometimes and get these Chow markers. You don't use a lot of ink on something, you can get away with it. And this one's nasty too. It's got a pretty nasty tip on it. All right. Closer to what I want. I might come back again, like I said in the end, and detail that up some more. I think I'd like a little bit more over in here. And see, if you're getting like a marker that's running out of ink or looks kind of gnarly on that, even that brush is looking a little bit gooey near the tip, that needs to be replaced. It's not a very nice marker. It puts down a little bit of ink down here, you can see, but it's quite dry. I switch off to the other end and see if there's any ink in that end. Sometimes there is. This one's not. So that's it's a pretty dry marker. Honestly, it needs to be also refilled or replaced. So we'll put that in the pile. There we go. Let's see anything else. Look at these. So I got some Prismacolors here. So neon yellow, probably too light, and canary yellow. Let's look at the canary. What that looks like. Now that's not bad. So that's close to what that 15 should have looked like. So in my experience there. So let's use this Prismacolor, switch off and use a different brand, no problem. Do a little more what I want there. So I'll continue to use this as my yellow. It's my go-to yellow for this since that other Y15 is out. So that was a Prismacolor PB19 or canary yellow and a brush marker from Prismacolor Mirror. All right, and we said next to pink in this zone here. So pink. 2 shades of pink at least. With pinks, you know, you got, again, 2 modes to go. You can go with the reds, of course, which are pinks. There's darker ones like this, which is an R83 Rose Mist. Pretty decent color for this. Definitely in the darker areas. And then I have a darker one yet, which I probably won't use. I don't know, this rose red R85, even darker. Might consider that. Blend it out, that might not be bad. And then something lighter. So let's choose something a lot lighter. Probably go with as an R20 blush or this R21. Let's look at the 21. I don't use the 21 a whole lot, so I think that'll be all right. I think that'll be okay. These are real muted colors on this character too, so it's not real super bright pinks. And those, you got a lot of those in the red violet realm, like these. This R13 and stuff. These are pretty light. Let's see. But Bobby's saying, yeah, I know the chows over in the UK are pretty easy to get over there. Next thinking knows better. Yeah. How much would it be just to ship out a sketch card? Because people on the GPK group have been asking my sketch card. Asking for my sketch card. I mean, how much is it just ship one to someone? Is that what you mean? A couple dollars. Just to ship it on one card? I mean, I'm not sure what you're sorry, I don't understand your question. Give and receive. Sorry. It's been a long day too. I might be just thick about it. Like, I don't know. But yeah, Bobby, the only place I can get chows over here, it's kind of the opposite for me. I can get sketch ones everywhere, but not everywhere, but easier, I should say. Chows are only available for me like at Michael's, or I can buy them online, but I tend not to get them a lot unless it's a color I just don't use much or I don't plan to airbrush, and I don't want to put myself in a box there, so I usually buy sketch. So this little area here where it bled over from the green, I'm just blending that a little bit more with this lighter color. And that will almost go away. It's okay because I want some shadow there anyway, so it'll be fine. That looks pretty good. I can make that work. I know some of the shops, the art shops, sell the chows in 3-packs, so you can get three of the same color in those and stuff like that. And that's what I ended up trading with a few of my friends. They had different colors, and I'd trade them out. Okay, see, it's pretty light up in here, but I want a little bit of line here. And this is what my mid-tone, my mid-color here. This is my R83, so I have an 85 behind this. My best effort to make this look dark. Then, like on the chest itself, about the same. Let's just blend it dark up into light like that, pretty simply. Here's the 85. Might feel way too dark at first, but blend it. All right. We'll use the 85 or the 83. I'm sorry, and blend that up. I may need to put some more. Let's go back over with this lighter color. So yeah, the 35th is a great. It's awesome for that, right? Yep. Yeah, I grabbed the 10s. They were cheap when the 35th was out to just get a few extra 10s. People were selling them pretty cheap online on eBay and stuff. I grabbed a couple of them. I didn't buy any collector's boxes from the 35th. Any cards from that. Like I got hobbies, I think, and blasters. All right, pretty happy with that. That's getting to be close to that. Oh, we got to put the dots on this thing, don't we? So here we got an option. Oh yeah, yeah, he's right. The chow markers are a little short. I mean, they fit. There's one. It's not terrible, but it would be harder to get in there and get to all of them. There's one, but I can see paintbrushes in there too. But it's the height's not too bad. Also, use something else. My wife and I love Talente gelato ice cream, so I use these. I have these things forever. Yeah, I have tons of these things, and they're great. They're great for a good little level set. Just pop these into a little bag I have, and just they go everywhere. Yeah, great, affordable, cheap way to store markers. All right, so let's see. So I got to put these red dots on this panel back here. I've been thinking about what I might want to do. I don't think I want to use Copic for that. I'm going to use a multi-liner for it. Just a small dot. You would be taking, taking a red marker and just dotting in there or something weird, like a little dots, which you see you do dots with most alcohol markers. It's kind of hard to make them uniform. I probably could pull it off, but that's just, there's no reason to fight with that. I have a multi-liner I can just take and make perfect, near, not perfect, but, more control, I should say, over the dots. So let's do that. Let's see. And these are Stablo, 0.88s they're called. They make them in all kinds of different sizes. They sell them individually. They're a cheap multi-liner that really holds up. I wouldn't blend over the color you drop down too much for them because they're not like the black multi-liner I've been using, but they do hold up pretty well. And they're a good company, but they sell them in large packs, like 20 packs. I think there's a 30-something pack. Don't hold me to that, but they sell like the whole collection in a pack. Very affordable. And they sell smaller versions like packs and 16 and stuff. But they're just like, I think I paid just maybe a few cents a piece at one point, like maybe 50 cents. And then I'm sure they're up more now, but they're cheap. They're cheap, cheaper than some of the other brands. Some of their brands are really expensive on the colored multi-liners, especially like Micron does a lot of them now. They have this one's not, but I have some colored ones of these, and these are kind of pricey. In comparison to these, very good though. And Copic used to do some. I have some, but they stopped selling the refills for the ink because I have colored versions. Oh, there we go. I knocked them on the floor. I do have colored versions of these too, and they stopped making the refills, so got out of the biz. Fingers crossed. Sorry, just reading some chats here, trying to catch up. I'll let you know, DK, on that. We're pretty good for now, but I'll let you know about that when we start deciding what we're going to do with that site. Yeah, appreciate that. Be cool. I don't know what we're going to do with it just yet. Let me get on these dots here. Let's see. These dots are kind of at an angle here. Don't want them super uniform, but I want them to be kind of, I don't know. DK, how has your project been going with the online checklist or database site? I know you were working on a pretty neat project for garbage pail stuff. But for now, I'm going to leave the dots like that. That's pretty happy with that. In the spirit of the old one. See what I knocked over on the floor here. I believe. So just a note, when you knock Copics on the floor, sometimes the caps pop off. They will pop off. It's not all of them, but just some of them. Crisis averted. There we go. All right, it's coming together. More colors in there. Let's get this back of the head done and maybe the bow. Try that. I won't knock anything else over here. Let's see, the bow. So the bow is kind of dark. It's kind of a more, again, the muted colors. And I think we've already sort of touched on what we could use. This R85 is really close to the original color on the card from what I'm looking at. So I'm going to start with the 83. I think I will. I'll start with the 83 and I'm going to be conservative with it. I'm going to be kind of crazy, not do too crazy on the edges here and just try to be smart with, like I said, the white space on the bow here. So closer down. Bottom, more shadow. Oh, well, I hope it picks up soon. Sorry it stagnated for a while. Very neat idea. All right. And then this one to blend, I mean, there's not much to blend. It almost, if you keep coloring it correctly, you probably don't even need to blend if you work this area in the correct way. I'm going to blend out a little bit. Let's find something very light, very small amount of color. So let's see, let's try this R11. Let's just take a quick look to make sure. Yeah, I think that'll work. Barely soften the edge. I just want to soften the edge of this pink bow here. Too much. That looks pretty good. Sometimes in person, I don't know if you can see on the camera, it looks decent. I don't know if in person it looks different or not, but not too bad. Go too far, remember you can always use the pencil. Get it back. Don't be scared to go for it. Okay, kind of like that. Kind of digging that. Could add maybe a touch more. Maybe a touch more up over here. And a little more. Into that. All right. Kind of digging the bow. Looks pretty good. Yeah. And again, I might come back and add some more darker colors to that to make it different. But, you know, let's see. All right. Back of the head here, we talked about a minute ago. We got a blue in the very back panel and another yellow up in here. So go back to our canary yellow here from Prismacolors. Try that. And go up in here. Kind of dug that. It's nice. Okay. Any other yellows I could use right now? I guess this panel here is a yellowish color. So do this one over here. And it goes all the way into the arm here. This is supposed to be a red over here, so I need to remember to go back and finish my reds. I kind of cheated, right? Skipped ahead. Yellow over here. This here is okay. This pink that got in here, I'm going to blend that around to the edge here. And you see it just kind of went away. And this edge here actually is a little orange looking anyway. I can make it kind of orangey and darker on this side, so it'll work perfectly. Wow, this one does smell a little bit more. You know, I told you they don't smell. Prismacolors do smell a little bit more. I got that close to my face for a minute. Wow. But not bad. From this distance, don't feel anything. Thank you. Thank you, JQ. Yeah, it's a lot going on for sure. It's a lot to talk about it and draw it and color it, so it slows you down dramatically. But that's the point of live. So I was telling someone the other day, it's funny, you know, when you draw these things and color them, you don't sit here and think about it. You just kind of do it. You don't really work like this. A little panel here. This panel here is also one of the polka dot panels. So, all right, we'll probably stop with that one and go over and finish up. Let's finish up the yellow panel. Put that over there. So our darker yellow, let's use the, I'm gonna use the 17. I'm gonna risk it. And try to get underneath this bow with it. I think it'll look fine. Especially if I blend it around with the canary yellow. And down here. I've always wanted to do this character, and I chose a live stream to do it. That's funny. Yeah. No point in doing the easy ones. I like doing characters I've never done before, or color to mess with. And sometimes I find like they're the most fun the first time you do them. Not always true, but yeah. Kind of brushing that one down. It'll blend nicely if I want to blend it. I don't want to. Just so many characters to choose from. It's really great. Once you're done with them, you'll need a month off the rest. I don't know. I don't know. There's not a lot of downtime sometimes. Some downtime right now. Blend this. I appreciate everyone tuning in and hanging out with me tonight. I don't know if this is too late for anybody, but I have kids and jobs and all kinds of stuff to get to. But I think it's really cool you hang out and doing these streams, so I appreciate it. I do them because you're here, so. So I think we're good on that, and we'll just go through and dot where I need to dot. So find my multiliner again, and let's see. Looks like on the arm, I'm going to put a little bit. It's kind of subtle. Maybe there's not really that many dots there. It's very faint on the original, but I'm gonna do one there. So a few dots here. Not rocket science, obviously. Every little detail will add up at the end, so don't ever feel frustrated if something's not coming together. I mean, obviously when you're first starting doing a picture, it's going to look a little rough, right? This panel on the back here is a blue color. Let's do a light blue there. We're going to just choose something a little different. Let's choose a different shade of blue. So this is a blue, a BO1, which is one of my favorite, mint blue. Use this mint blue here. And I'm going to color it closer to the edge of the panel, and then I'm going to blend it over that way with a very, very light blue. Zero, a B0 or something. B00. Could even just leave it like that, in fact. I really could. Let's see. Here's my B. This is crazy. You're going to laugh at this one. So this is not the color I meant to grab, but this is a blue-green, snow green. It is a BG0000. So, and yeah, and there is a pale aqua, which is a just 3 zeros. So I think the 4 zeros is as far back as it goes. But they're little pale colors that they work really well to blend with. You have their purpose. I'm gonna use a blue green for this because you can't tell the difference, and I don't even think I really need it, but I'm gonna soften that edge anyway. Just see what I get out of it. And in person, it adds a little, but overall, I think it's pointless. Small area. I do want to go over that area a little bit more with this again. Being careful not to get into that yellow. Little things, you don't want to be sloppy with it. So I think that'll be all right. I'll hit it again. Yeah, it's just a game of softening the edge of between the colors, really. That a Bowser Panda, that's cool. Yeah. Very neat. I saw the movie with my son a few weeks ago. Bowser would be a really fun character to draw. Actually, Mario Brothers would be. I haven't ever drawn anything from Nintendo except for maybe like a wacky package. It's a spoof of Mario. It's the Moron Brothers. I only done spoof stuff, but yeah. I need an ambulance to pick me up when I'm finished with the sketch, DK. I felt that way before. I have rushed to get a set done before and been like so tired I went to sleep in my car before if I was done. That that's I don't ever want to cut it that close or have that little of sleep. So I used to sleep in shifts to get things done. Okay, let's look at those last two panels on the face here. Take a look at that. So that's a light blue and like is that oh that might be another you know what I missed it. I think that panel down there is also yellow. So, yeah, let's do this yellow and it's got polka dots on it too. Misreading that, that's what's going to happen anyway. So we're going to do it that way. And we need to darken that thing up a lot, being on the bottom of the chin here. So again, I'm going with the 17. Of course, that's doing like 100 sketches, so. But you can spend as much time on 100 sketches as you do on one if you take your time and drag your feet on it like I'm doing. So, but if I don't have to be in a hurry, there's no point in being in a hurry. I feel. I'm going to dot look a little bit lighter on this. So very light. Don't like that because it doesn't match the others. All right. And then this panel, what did I say that was going to be? A light blue with also some kind of dots in it. Well, we might just do a light blue because the dots weren't really wearing this. I kind of switched around the panels, but let's put a light blue or something strange in there. Not exactly, but hey, let's try it. Go through this side, I'll blend it around. How about that? I'll use so that was a blue green 15. This is a blue green 10, which is a cool color. Funny, it's called a cool shadow. I like this color a lot. Use it to blend some snow effects and stuff sometimes. Do it this way, and then I'm just going to barely blend the top of it. Barely. In fact, I think I might even grab a darker color and go on the bottom. Or I'll use the 15 again. Let's do the 15 again. It's a human color wheel for sure. Yeah, no doubt. Going all over the place. There's a little bit of red seeping in the top of that. I don't like that. Yeah, that's all right. That'll be fun. I don't like the on the white there. On the white space on that. So this green kind of loses its identity in there. We don't want to darken that green up some. Let's go back and look at the green again. So now I'm, I'm getting picky now with refinement, but this green needs to be more prominent against these blues. Blue panel here, blue panel here. The green kind of lost, especially with the blue-green color there. So get in there and fix that edge. There also is a point where the cardstock won't take any more ink. Pretty rare. We've been going that long, maybe you'll hit it, but we're not there yet. But there is a point where that can happen. A little better, a little better. Yeah, DK, that's what we were talking about earlier. Using some pencils to refine some of the details would be great. Just gonna do markers here. The pencils you always do last. You always want to wait on that if you're gonna do pencil work, obviously, because you can't layer any ink on top of that. So always wait for that, and especially the shading up here. I think I'd like to blend this more with a pencil. I don't think I can push the ink around enough to make that light enough where I want it. So I want to just leave that alone for now. And then this panel underneath the chest here, let's see what we wanted for that. Supposed to be think it's a green. It's a green in there. It's hard to see. Um, maybe a dark green in there. Yeah. So let's go back and use our dark green. I'm not gonna worry too much about blending this one. I might stop right here and put a lighter green right here, and then I actually might bring a darker green on the edge here, since it's a pretty dark zone right here underneath the head. Not a lot of detail going underneath this zone here, so not too worried about it. And let's see, find something else. Let's see. Light enough. I think that's yeah. The trick in something like this one is not to get too fixated on one spot. Keep working the zone, especially with all the color in this character. A lot to navigate and make sure they're all. You don't want to make one area too light versus the others, and just kind of make them. It's kind of to get the harmony in there is a little tricky, but I think it's working, coming along okay. Doing all right. Find a darker green, I think works in there. So we used a green 14 in there from Copic to do the darker shade. So we have some other ones here. I have a, let's see, 19, which is way too dark, I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look at the 19. I might be able to make that work, actually. That's a little bit lighter, actually. Like a 17 in a different sort of saturation. Let's see. A little more muted. It's kind of ugly. So I'm going to go with the 19. I'll go with the 19 and I'll blend it around in there if I don't like it. Got a lot more space right there. So, and this is one I can tell it's pretty new. I can tell it's going to drop a lot of ink. I do trust it, but I'm going to pop the cap off the end. Also because of the shade, it's so dark that if we're to drop extra ink, like, and when it does drop, it's going to drop a whole droplet. So I'll also watch the tip to see if it's kind of like swelling up with, if it's super, looks juicy looking. You want to pull that back and just bleed it off a little bit. So this cap here, I will say some of these caps don't fit super tight when even on the new ones. So it's a little bit loose. Not a good thing. Blend this G19 out. I'm going to use. I just grabbed this G23, something lighter. Can't tell. It's still a little muted, so it'll keep it a little darker when I'm pulling that ink out of there. Yeah, like that. Good. Blend that little, soften that edge a little bit. Like that. I like that a lot there. Here. Add a little bit more over on this side. Just on the edge of the panel. All right. And maybe I should look at the reds a little bit. These reds that don't aren't completed here and there. And then the leg piece. Where the leg pieces look. Might change them up a little bit. They're a lot of texture and detail. I might leave them that way. There's some different ones with black dots on them and stuff. Right here. I'm gonna think I want to choose something new. It's certain repeat colors. I don't have any orange on here at all. Really, I mean, some stuff looks orangey, but it's put some orange panels in there if I can. Let's see, choose something. So yellow, red, 04, chrome orange is a good starting point for orange. Looks a little basic like an orange here. And there's also apricot, yellow, red, 16. Not bad. More muted, and that might be more appropriate since these colors are pretty mute. So let's try the 16. And let's see where I might want to try that. So this is green on here. I'm just going to use it down here in the leg. I'm going to go crazy with it. Just one panel a little different, that's all. In the end, you probably won't tell the difference. It's a little variation doesn't hurt. Then to blend that down and to really push that down, I used a yellow red 00 powder pink, which is that blended that pretty well. First, it looks decent. Tiny little panel on the camera, I'm sure. Let's see. As I said, let's probably go back to the red. So I've got a red zone here to play with, which looks a lot like my pink zone, and then I've got cheek over here to mess with, and the hand. Yeah, I did probably one little zone over here in the throw up. So I'm digging my palette markers here. When I'm drawing, I get a giant palette markers on both sides of the pad here. So I think that's one I use. I set them off to the side so I didn't move them with my markers from last week, so I'd have them all right here. Okay, so 08, another red 08, 17, yeah, 24. So the 24 and the 8 I can do a lot with here. So let's just take the 24 and go easy and see what I've got going on. This is much lighter than that. That must be a probably an R02, I'm going to guess. I used there. What it looks like to me. One. R01, that'll be close enough to show. Yeah, I think it would be something close to that, what I was working with. So let's get in here with this, and then I'll blend with that R01. See. So I'll blob some red in there and blend that and see what that looks like. Let's see. Multiple layers here, but I just want to cause a nice little effect right here on the arm. And I'll get probably part of it the way I want it, and then I'll add some more red up here probably. Getting there. Go to the edge here. R20, that'll work too. This is R20. A little more pinkish. Okay. Now that's getting kind of smoother through there. Still might add a little more red in there. Not quite as red as I want. It's not as definitely as dark as you're working with the original, but yeah, this is a 24. This is not my darker shade I was using on this, so it might need to be time to move up and use the darker shade I had going on. So the 17, let's take a look at that. That might be sufficient. Pretty dark, yeah. And I might have layered it enough that it won't matter here. Red's another color too. I love to do final work with a pencil on because you can make some really nice blending with the nice red pencil. Go for the 8. I love the R08. It's really deep. It's a big jump from that 17. Do the edge there of that. So we got. We'll wrap up here in just a moment with the reds. Bobby doesn't sleep. Yeah, I know I'm about to sleep. Sure. Beep boop. Do it, Bobby. Hit the beep boop. Still awake. I should read bedtime stories while I do these, right? Funny. So that, I can live with that. I kind of like that. I still might come back in with a pencil and sort of darken up that gradient right there. But for now, I'm going to let it sit. I'll think about it. Same with the hand and the cheek. I probably should push through and get these done. Let's do that. And I'm going to skip the R24. I'm going to go right to the 8, the R08. And let's see here. Or I'm going to try to a little bit about that. Kind of careful around the hand here, but blend this. I'm probably going to blend this a lot around the fingers, so let's see how this turns out. Blend that some and see if I do want to use the R24 some. Let me blend this edge, which is really, really hard edge here. And not much real estate to do it in. I'll show you what it's like to jump from the darkest to the lightest color you're using between the three. And you'll move around a little bit, but you won't get enough, I don't think. That middle color seems annoyingly like an annoying step sometimes, but it is kind of crucial. So that's not what I want. Didn't blend terribly, but I want to use the R24. Let's see where to throw it. Oh, here it is. Get in there and go back in there a little closer to the edge where the light's hitting it. I can blend this one out a little bit more so it won't be as difficult to fight up in these smaller zones up here in these fingers and stuff. Going back over any little white spots I might have missed before. Okay. Then, if I still think it needs some more dark shade on near the edge of the corners there, I'll do that too. Let's do that. I did pretty much blend that R8 out of the corners. So put it back. Building those layers. It's nice. That looks good. I'm still going to blend that edge a little bit around the fingertips, but I'm liking a little bit of what I see. Soften that little edge there in the middle of the fingers, the fingertips, depending where it's at. And I think I probably would do like a little bit more there. On the fingers themselves. Let's see. So we need to add like a little more shadow down on the bottom rung of the finger here. Let's do this. What I mean. And the thumb here, let's see, it's actually kind of more on the back side here. Well, thank you, JQ Lantern. Appreciate you joining me tonight. I know it's late. I'm going to get out of here soon in a minute. We're going to wrap up here in just a moment. Do appreciate you tuning in. I'll go over that with the fingers again with this R08 too. All right. Cheek over here. do the same, and I'll blend that around, and then we'll call it. Okay. Call that after I get this done here, or at least at this stage. So live with that for now. All right, I think we're gonna stop there for tonight. We'll call it for there for now. So we'll stop at this stage. We'll do a part 3 and finish up the rest of this. Do some more shading of the blocks we've already got, and kind of shade the diaper and do an airbrush in the background. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you being here. Hope you have a good rest of your week. Joe and I'll be streaming again on Sunday, so we'll be on Sunday. So please join us then. We'll put up a reminder notification for that coming up soon. And hopefully I can get some videos up too this week. I've got 3 that are being worked on. So anyway, thank you, Bobby B. Thank you, DK, for being out there. JQ, get some sleep. Thank you for joining me. Also, Trooper Rips, thanks. Appreciate you coming in and give and receive. Anybody else I missed? Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I'll continue this probably next week. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.